Okay, let's just ignore the fact that we've been inactive for 3 months. Well, not really. Within that time, I did do a video with Afro X, and I really love how that turned out. And hopefully, you guys have given it a watch as well. If you haven't, link in the upper right corner. But now we're back, baby, and in the only way we can be back, by reviewing a manga that was a meme like 2 weeks ago and about a month too late. Okay then, let's get to it. So unless you're not part of any anime/manga communities on social media, then you've probably heard of Kagurabachi. This title gave birth to more iconic memes in a week than the amount of good chapters Fire Force has ever put out. Not like that's a high bar to clear, but it's still something impressive. And within all that cloud of smoke, people hailing it as Shonen Jump's next savior, to people saying it's already overrated in 2 chapters, I still have no clue what the hell this manga is actually about. And until I actually read it for myself, I have no intention of actually reading a synopsis. I'm going into this one as blind as Kenshi. Thus, whatever synopsis you hear is something I came up with on my own, bruh. You're welcome. Needless to say, this video will contain massive spoilers for Kagurabachi Chapter 1 and some light spoilers for Chapters 2, 3 and 4. If you care enough about that, now's your chance to click off. Alright, we good? Okay then. Also, please realize that I might be reading these names in my native tongue, so I'm probably butchering a lot of them. Sorry about that. The story of Kagurabachi follows Chihiro, a young swordsman that's on a revenge quest to get back the famous swords his father crafted, and is seemingly hinted to have a talent for crafting swords as well, a skill he learned from his father. Chapter 1 shows us the relationship between father and son, which, I'm not going to lie, I actually enjoyed. I loved seeing the interactions between Chihiro and Konishige. I loved seeing his dad enter into serious mode at the beginning of the manga while forging swords with his son. It was some heartwarming shit. And given this is a shonen manga, we all know where this is going, right? Anyway, dialogue with his dad's old friend Shiba quickly establishes his dad as a legendary swordsmaker whose name was more renowned than any of the soldiers that fought in the war, which is high praise indeed. After a time skip of about 3 years or so, leaving us with Chihiro aged about 18 years old, we find him teaming up with Shiba to take down some Yakuza, and oh lord is it a glorious sight to behold. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all configurations, I am not a difficult person to please. The visuals are actually better than they have any right to be, and people that were bad-mouthing the art in this manga, shame on all of you. It shows us that the kid isn't a scrub, and also shows us that this manga is willing to get bloody when necessary or when needed. After the fight, we see Chihiro is hunting a guy by the name of Hishaku, the head of the Sorcerer's Organization. Who Hishaku and what the Sorcerer Organization are still remains to be seen, but you know what, personally I feel like that was a good opening chapter. It sets up the story and leaves enough breadcrumbs to keep us coming back for the next chapters, at least to get the questions answered if, we need those answered to begin with. What happened to Chihiro's father, who is Hishaku, why are the Yakuza running rampant, and what exactly does being a sorcerer entail? So now, my general thoughts on Kagurabachi. The series has some really good fights so far, which if you're going to make an action shonen title is the minimum bar to clear. Chihiro taking on the Yakuza in chapter 1 was not only fun but well drawn, and Chihiro versus the assassin that comes after the little girl he's protecting in chapters 3 and 4 is also pretty solid. We haven't gotten an in-depth explanation of the power system yet and what exactly establishes what powers people have and what establishes whether they have those powers or not and how those powers interact with each other, but that's fine. Honestly, we're only 4 chapters in, and if you consider how long it took series like Hunter x Hunter to explain the full extent of their power systems, I'm willing to give Kagurabachi enough time to flesh out what it means to be a sorcerer and what a necromancer actually entails. The characters introduced so far are fun as well. The aforementioned interactions between Chihiro and his father flesh out more of what his character is, but his interactions with Shiba are great as well. In fact, I'd go out on a limb and say every character that's been introduced so far hasn't bored me. Even the assassin dude chasing the little girl wasn't bland. I mean, the dude was doing his best Christian Cage impression, and if that doesn't entertain you in a bad guy, I don't know what would. We also haven't gotten too much information about the setting, but I look forward to the world building establishing this as we move forward. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's something I can 100% see getting an anime adaptation if it continues on its roll, which is a good 6.5 to 7 out of 10. But there's definitely potential for more. And this, I feel, will be determined by how the power system, the world building, and the villains How each of those is handled is going to be important to the series going forward. Kagurabachi does have potential to be special, and I, for one, hope one day people can include it in discussions against the likes of Jujutsu Kaisen when talking about the quality of manga series.